Hey, Michelle.
Gio.
Hey,
Hey,
long time no see.
long time no see.
Oh,
How
yeah.
you been? We are actually, let me start this. We are actually, we're actually live. I'm over here fumbling. It's been so long since I've done all of this.
Yeah.
Um, and really, I'm pretty surprised at much I remembered, and that I think we're actually live. I think it's working. It it helped that we were here last week, so that gave me a little practice, even though we didn't go live. But I'm kind of getting there, but I'm still feel like I'm fumbling around, and
Oh,
so Vanita.
hey, Miss Benita. Oh, she's still connected.
So last week when we were here, of course, I was reacquainted with how my computer freezes
Uh-oh.
and knocks me out, and
Oh,
and so I just had to remind everybody that, if I get knocked out of the Zoom, I will be trying to get back in.
yeah.
So give me a few minutes. I'll text somebody, and if it's taking long.
Oh, my God.
But how have you been?
Oh, I'm good. How you doing?
Hey, Benita.
Gio, how you doing?
I'm doing okay.
I haven't seen you in a long time.
I know. It's
I
been,
thought
I
a
don't know,
long time.
a long time.
I'm happy to see you tonight, though.
I'm happy to be here and see you guys too.
Oh yeah. What am I doing? I don't even know what I'm doing tonight. I'm just like,
Hey, that's how I felt. I downloaded the the agenda. I'm like, okay. And then I read the small print. Oh, be prepared with a question and bring something to share. I'm like, oh my God.
yeah,
And I
I
don't even remember how to share anything. I'm like, okay, well, let's see what happens.
I came earlier.
Oh, you did.
Yeah, but I don't know. And then I left because I got distracted of some way with something. I don't know. Today is one of those days. But anyways, it's winter here again today.
Oh no. What's the temperature?
50 something, 52. Yeah,
Here
it was
too.
Monday was 80 something last week. It was 90 degrees last week, and now it's like 52 today. It'll be like 32 or 37 tonight. And I don't know.
Goodness, this is crazy.
Isn't it crazy?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So what's going on?
Wow. Well, of course, I ended up doing an agenda, even though I said I was not going to be doing all of that, Gio. Um,
That's okay.
but my time worked out a little bit better than I had thought, so I was able to do it. And since I know this is us coming together after a very long break, I thought it would be good to have a few questions to get us started. And the material was, very stimulating. So, but I didn't do a million questions because I didn't get as much done as I really wanted to. I didn't have that much time. But, I always have too many questions anyway. So, so
So
I think we'll be okay.
it's a it's a nice, gentle introduction back into the flow. So yeah, you did great.
Yes. Yes.
Definitely.
And I think I think Karen is going to be joining us in this session, Gio. But, she's in Panama this week, trying to decide if she is going to relocate her life there.
Wow.
So we saw her last week. But I think, I think that's it. I think it's just going to be the four of us. Nicole did say she may pop in, whenever she gets a chance, but, she's working on her dissertation. So I'm guessing that means she's not going to have a lot of chances to pop in. But she just wanted us to know she's still thinking of us as we are of her. And yeah, what's going on with you, Gio?
Well, fighting old age. No, most of my time has been spent learning how to play Roblox with my grandchildren.
There you go. That's fun.
Okay. What is that? A computer game? What is that?
Yeah, it's a little app, and it has like thousands of games on it of various age levels, and depending on what you're interested in, you play together with whoever else has the app. And so, but you have to be friends to be able to play. And so the younger one likes to play the role-playing games called Lifetopia, and where grandma gets to be the baby and make the funny voices. She loves, Grandma, we need to play Lifetopia so you can make are you gonna make the funny voices? Say yes.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it's cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds like fun.
Well, it's been a great way to really get to know them, even not being, they're all, together all the time. Because right now they're in upstate New York. And so just about every day we play and we talk about stuff. So it's cool. It's cool. Yeah.
Oh. And are they the ones that also sometimes live in Italy?
Yeah, they were in Italy, but now they're back stateside. So
they're in New York.
Yeah.
Okay.
My son's getting close.
Oh, maybe I should learn how to do it. To play with my grandson. He's in Germany.
Oh yeah, because I have what's it, Echo Show. So, and I sent one because there was a sale. I sent two because they have different rooms. The two girls have different rooms. So each one of them has one, and they can call me and talk to grandma. We can play on the tablets while they talk to me. It's so great. You need to do that, Michelle.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Yeah.
I hope you can, because it was really a turning point in our relationship together, We added to it. So.
I can see that. Yeah. Wow. And Vanita, what's going on with you and all of your chilling?
Everybody's cool. We talk, have FaceTime in the morning on the way to school, have FaceTime in the evening, sometime on the way back from school or going to special activities. Thank God for technology.
Right.
It's like, you could talk. I mean, when you have technology, I don't know, it was very, well, families lived more in the community anyway when we were growing up. But now that everyone's spread out, thank goodness we have technology.
Yeah.
Because it really makes a huge difference in between.
Right.
Makes a big difference.
Yeah.
So what was this week? Everyone went to the convention center because they had the big Leo convention, which was fabulous.
Oh, nice.
So that was nice. Yes, I was looking at them live, and they did all kinds of wonderful things, and they had different stations, and of course you can buy $10.5 million of the Legos right there.
Okay.
They had movable, a lot of scientific Lego displays, huge ones, small ones. The children participated in scientific experiments, building different things. It was just a great thing. And they have all these stations and all these characters. And of course, Mario was also big there. And Avery loves Mario and Wyatt loves Mario. So they had something for everyone. You know, they all the super characters. Some of the exhibits were quite extraordinary. Really. I mean, Legos is like, they're going to be here forever.
Yeah.
So it was good. So it was pretty good.
Right. As I was reading the chapter, I was visualizing, you know, the building blocks that you use with babies or with little children. But Legos is another good visual, you know, of learning how the world is put together, how things are put together. Yeah, great.
I tried to buy Lincoln Logs for them years ago. And when my Lincoln Logs, which I still have, were fabulous, but they were made of real wood. They were made nicely. It was just like fabulous. Now the Lincoln Logs, I didn't buy them. They made like this plastic or something, like a plastic. It's horrible. You know, we have real Lincoln Logs. If you remember Lincoln Logs, I mean, you know, I had real ones. And everything is just made of plastic. It's not even worth it. It doesn't have the same feel. It's not organic. So I guess it's a sign of the time, but Lincoln needs to pull up on that because it's supposed to be classic. You know, you need to keep it classic, not plastic logs.
That's right. Anybody can make a mold and pour some plastic.
That's what they did. I mean, we had wood ones, real wood logs, you know, and now they're just made of plastic and they don't even look like Lincoln Logs. I mean, they resemble Lincoln Logs, but you can imagine plastic instead of wood. Yeah. So it's really not much fun to even feel them as you're doing it. You know, it's touch too, not just visual. Yeah. So when you feel this plastic, what is that? They call logs. Keyword is log. So anyway, so much for that.
Well, yeah, let's go ahead and get started because if anyone is watching us on live stream, I guess they don't know who we are, what we're talking about. Let me see, where did I try to share my screen? Can you see it yet?
Not yet.
Yeah.
Here it goes.
Okay. So this is the agenda. So yes, welcome to session 18 of the Global Black Feminist Reading Circle. I'm using the same number, session 18, that we used for Gathering Blossoms, the Alice Walker book that we were supposed to read, but did not get into. We just kind of pooped out on that one. So, you know, for anybody that doesn't know, the session numbers are our record of how many books we've discussed publicly together. So our current reading, which is The Disordered Cosmos, A Journey into Dark Matter, Spacetime, and Dreams Deferred by Chanda Prescod-Weinstein, is the session 18 selection for the Global Black Feminist Reading Circle. And I know this book was on some of our list, you know, but we just kind of, after taking a long break, the the three of us here just decided to go ahead and do this. So it wasn't like a regular voting process. But anyway, that's what we're doing. And so there is a schedule posted, and we should be here through August 8th. So about 14 weeks. And learn more about us. We have a web page, website called Reading Changes Lives, .wordpress.com. And we also have a page called the Global Black Feminist Reading Circle on Facebook, and a channel by that same name on YouTube. So, and today is the start of session 18. And so we are going to be, as soon as we pull ourselves together, having some chat on the introduction and chapter 1. Just a reminder to try to limit our comments to 3 minutes. I'm mostly talking to myself when I say that. And let's go. Let's introduce ourselves. I'll start. I'm Michelle Odom, and I am located in Brooklyn, New York, a Big Apple.
Okay, I'm Georgette Moses. I'm joining you guys from Columbia, South Carolina.
Yay!
Oh,
I can't hear you. You're muted.
I said Gio has her one-woman cheerleader, 2-year cheerleader. I love that. My name is Vanita Walker, and I'm joining you from Cromwell, Connecticut.
yay!
That pass-through state, the one that you pass through to get to New York, is where Michelle is.
You're there. And
Right.
special.
Yes.
I'll go ahead and read the summary if I can. I'm having a hard time finding my cursor these days. Right. Who you are matters in science. When you're looking at the world from the margins, a persistent feeling of the sublime can feel out of reach as you struggle against mundane and pervasive forces of oppression. That's a quote from the book. The introduction of The Disordered Cosmos, A Journey into Dark Matter, Spacetime, and Dreams Deferred by Chanda Prescod-Weinstein. In the beginning, A Bedtime Story makes the point that Black lives are star stuff and Black lives matter. Yet her own experience and natural inquisitiveness teaches her that our location in the universe, world, and society do make a difference in ways that even impact education and science. She considers transitions in her own life and reveals the book reflects the author's love for science and difficulties people like her have in holding on to that love. Prescod-Weinstein writes, this book will reflect these different phases in order to provide a holistic picture of the ways of knowing that we call particle physics and cosmology. Studying the physical world requires confronting the social world. I know personally that social barriers impact the practice of science, its results, and the people who comprise the community we call science. She also shares her vision of a different kind of world, telling us she would like to wrestle particle physics from violently colonial nation states and create room for Black children in the field to radically change society and the role of physicists within it. Her two big dreams for Black children and others, besides clean water, good food, access to health care, and a world without mass incarceration, are to know and experience Blackness as beauty and power, to know and experience curiosity about the night sky, to know it belonged to their ancestors. Chapter 1, I Love Quarks, explores the standard model of particle physics, which describes and makes predictions about elementary particles, the fundamental building blocks of matter. The author also shares how she fell in love with quarks, a subatomic type of particle, and observes how racism infects the language and concepts used in particle physics. So that's a little bit of an overview. Vanita, you want to choose a question to start us off, or you have a question you want to start us off with?
Just looking at the agenda.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't even read it. I'll let Gio go first.
Okay, I'll start with one because that sounds good.
I'm just going to read the agenda.
Okay.
All right. Number 1, Milky Way, stars, supernova, carbon plus oxygen, planets, light. A, the author locates humanity within the Milky Way galaxy. Why do you suppose we are here? Well,
You are here.
yes, that tiny, tiny dot on the edge of the Milky Way. Wrong about that. No. Oh my goodness. I think I probably mentioned my belief in some of our past meetings together, and that we're here to experience the experience of being. So, in all its different permutations. So I'm not a religious person. I'm more spiritual. And I do a lot of eclectic reading. So my view of life and, well, existence in the universe continues to develop. I'm just really following not breadcrumbs, but I think more signposts along the way. And let's see, I read a really interesting book, and I can't think of the name of it. This couple of months ago. Oh my goodness, I can't think of it now. But the gentleman describes the universe as consciousness, right? One huge consciousness. But then there are different layers that we work our way through. And it's basically about having experiences and gaining knowledge about your place in that, and it's not even really a hierarchy. It's just different places of where you experience different things because you chose that to do that before. I mean, And now I'm going to intersperse the near-death experience people. I've been watching their interviews and the information they come back with is that you chose, before you get to whatever incarnation of life you're in, you've decided these are the things I wish to experience. And when you get here, you forget that you chose that stuff. So it's all new to you. And so I think I'm just gathering all this information to either confirm, right, or deny what informs me about personal existence here. It's a personal thing. It's really a personal existence. And when somewhere in this chapter, Chanda says that, science, I'm a paraphrase here, that science is beautiful, but we really don't know everything, and we barely know what we're talking about now. And that kind of like undergirds, some of the stuff that I've been reading. And what I love about when you're looking for something, when you're looking for knowledge, for real, information, for some truth to inform how you want to move through the world, it comes to you if you really want the information. You meet someone, you pick up a book, you watch a video, and boom, there's the answer to your question. And then that leads you to something else that further informs how you should be operating in this system. I subscribe to a gentleman. Am I going over my 3 minutes? Well, I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna end. I subscribe to Billy Carson's channel. It's called Forbidden Knowledge TV. And I'm gonna call him a young man because I'm sure I'm older than he is. But his, where he pulls his knowledge from, he's very well read and well traveled. And he mentions a gentleman, an astrophysicist who deciphered the Adinkra codes, which are glyphs, sort of hieroglyphs from a tribe in Mali. And they represent the structure of the universe with error correcting codes. The guy says that this is, this is further proof that we are living in a computer simulation because somebody had to write it, so, but
I'm living in what?
A computer, something similar to a computer simulation, right? Because
okay.
And then we have a gap in knowledge between civilizations because of disasters and social, geopolitical, upheavals. But ancient people had knowledge that we, because of our westernized viewpoint, it's far beyond what we've been taught and told to accept. And we really got to open up our minds a little, hey, and explore the possibilities to find the truth. So I'm in there.
Thank you. I thought you might have a deep answer to that question. Well, Vanita, my Aries friend, lifelong Aries friend, I know how y'all roll, so. And I think it's probably true for all of us here that we would describe ourselves as spiritual, not religious, which I think is partly
You're freezing. I can't hear you. Gio?
I'm here. I think Michelle is frozen.
Are you frozen or am I frozen?
Your video is frozen. We didn't have sound for a minute. You stopped.
Hello.
Say something else.
Am I frozen?
Your video is, but now your audio. is back.
Mhm.
And I know she was about to say something so profound.
Yes, but remember, she's coming right back. When
Yeah.
she said, when she mentioned that, you know, the two of us are Aries and she's a Sagittarius, and we are compatible in that way. Although we have different types of Aries and different types of Sagittarius, I think we are the more diplomatic Aries until we're not.
Right.
You know, it takes a lot. It takes a lot, but we are
Don't want
until
to find out. That's it.
you know what I'm saying? All right, you know, and I feel the same way you do. Of course, you know, I'm not religious. I'm spiritual, but I just believe in the invisible hand, and I've always just let the invisible hand guide me, because that is science for me. You know, it's just that invisible hand, and if you don't resist it, and if you relax your body and your mind, and you just move with it. It's what you said. You just fall onto all these other things that give you information, you know, so you can be more informed and have different feelings and different outlooks. And as you let that invisible hand move, then more comes in. You let it move, and if you just don't resist it, it always worked well for me. You know, I just find there's been a couple of times that just because I've tried to resist it. In other words, it's moved me this way, and I'm like, okay, and it just didn't work out well. I learn fast. It doesn't take me long. One time I had the message. And I think that was when I was much younger, when I tried to resist it, like, oh, I think I'm gonna. And the visible hand said, but no, that's not the way you should be going. This is the way. I learned very quickly to just let that invisible hand lead me where it wants me to be. And I think I'm a peaceful person. I think I have more moments of contentment, because I don't believe in happiness, and that word is thrown around a lot. It's just like science. I don't believe in just one blanketed, oh, I'm a happy person. No, we have moments of contentment. That's why I feel I have moments of contentment, because as we know, things can change on a dime.
Mhm.
So I just literally enjoy those moments of contentment, let the invisible hand move me. In the process, it just leaves me open to let things in, whether it's people, whether it's nature, whether it's whatever it is. And once in a while, some cray kind of ease in there. And I had that same invisible hand that slaps it back, you know.
Okay.
But I found this very interesting. I love science. I love physics. That was my favorite subject. I probably should have been a scientist.
Wow. Well,
Oh,
it's never too late. You're a citizen scientist.
yeah, this is true. Where did you go? I don't see you.
Can't see me?
Okay.
I don't see anyone but myself.
What about at the top or around the side of the screen?
I see two of me. I didn't touch it, and suddenly it's a large picture of me, and then a small.
No,
one.
I put you on spotlight,
Okay.
which means you do fill the big part of the screen. But when I do that, the other two people show up at the top of my screen.
They don't show up at the top of my screen. I see two of me, the large view and then the small view, which of course you can kind of zap that out.
Okay.
It might be some setting on here. They might have some new setting on the updated Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But
Okay.
So when I got knocked out a minute ago, I get a message periodically that kind of shows up in the middle of my screen that says your internet connection is unstable. And I know that when I see that, I'm about to get kicked out of Zoom. But I'm not losing the internet connection. I'm being kicked out of Zoom. So I don't know, what it means. But anyway, I did mean to change my internet service. I haven't done that yet.
Did you update your app
maybe
recently?
Do that this week.
Have you updated your app, your Zoom app?
Huh?
Have you updated to the latest for your Zoom app?
Updated Zoom?
Yeah. The app.
It just did an update. Get that message again. Your internet connection is unstable. I'm probably going to get kicked off. If I do, just go on to another question. But I guess, that question, why are we here, is just one of humanity's perennial questions. It's kind of hard not to wonder about that at some point, at least for me, at least for, naturally inquisitive people. And, I don't know that there is ever an answer that's going to be absolute, definitive. But I still think it's a good idea to ask the question. It just, one of the things that she kind of gets at is that there are different ways of knowing. As GL talked about, signposts. Anita talked about, just being open to what comes to her. And so different ways that, don't fit the scientific method. But somehow we just seem to know. And for me, I have just always felt that it just never made sense to me that all of this universe, all of these magnificent creations exist simply so that we can eat, drink, and be merry. That just never made any sense to me. And that's probably because my daddy was a preacher, and, I sort of grew up learning about there being a higher purpose to life and living. But I also think it's innate in me. So I don't know, I don't know why we're here, but here, whether physically in this location, within the Milky Way, or here, on this plane of existence, or, however you interpret the question. But I think it's important that we keep trying to figure it out, keep trying to push ourselves to making meaning, out of this existence. To me, if we're just here to work ourselves to the bone and die, and try to get a little bit of joy along the way. It just it doesn't make sense to me. I can't. It does not compute in my head. So yeah, I think there's a lot more. Now we know that the vast majority of our brains are not even, we don't even have access to. We're not even utilizing. But even if we could utilize the other 97%, I just think whatever is happening here is big. It's big.
Okay.
And big it is. We got to get Michelle some better internet.
No, it's just a lot. Yeah, and also too depends on your computer. Because computers get obsolete very quickly. So, if you don't update your app, actually go in and make sure you download the most recent app. And a lot of times you will have problems.
Yeah, that's
with Zoom or with any app.
Yeah.
So what happens is it knocks me out of Zoom, and then I don't touch anything or do anything, and it kind of automatically goes into a restart of Zoom. But how long it took, that seems to be how long it's taking for Zoom to open up again on its own. So yeah, I don't know if it's a Zoom problem but I keep getting these letters, these sales literature from Optimum. And I think they may have a sale. The T-Mobile, I'm using T-Mobile for internet. And I think they've done about all they can do for me.
Something you got to shop.
I had one of their people called me the other day to ask how I was liking the service and a little survey kind of thing. We hadn't been in book group for a while, so I gave them high praise.
Oh.
He should call me tomorrow.
Flames.
Yes.
Oh, man. All right. So, yeah, that's a big question. Why are we here? What else do we have? Oh, I'm going to go to number 2, Gio. Let me see if I can. Where are you? Share my screen. Where is the agenda? Share. All right, so I'm going to do number 2, Rene Descartes, mathematician and philosopher, saw humans and the universe as separate and distinct. How does African thinking differ from that of Europeans like Descartes? What might it mean for the planet if we saw all life from a more Afrocentric view?
Oh,
I think the Afrocentric view is it's more of a connection. We are connected. We are one. We are family. Circle of life, Lion King type of stuff. You know? And you know, and so that's one way to move through the world. Where I think that the European cultural DNA is just much more disconnected, you know, divide and conquer, out for self, you know. And, you know, there's all kind of ideas about why all of that has come to be, you know, like the cold weather of Europe, you know, whatever it is. You know, history and our present day experience has really shown us that there are different ways of moving through the world that are not all very compatible. So, you know, I was saying to Vanita, you know, we had a recent example with the response to COVID. It seemed very, very difficult for, you know, a lot of people, but, you know, especially those of European descent, to grasp the concept that you know, we have an impact. We have an impact on each other. And yeah, you know, you might need to inconvenience yourself a little bit so as not to kill Granny. You know, it wasn't just white people that were having that problem, but, you know, as Black Americans, as we have more and more taken on European value systems, that's one of the consequences, that we're losing that understanding of our connection to each other and our willingness to harm one another and all of that. So, yeah, you know, I think it makes a big difference. And I think the author is really making the point that to the extent that particle physics or science more broadly incorporates people of diverse backgrounds, you know, it will expand in infinite ways what science is able to know, because it will incorporate different perspectives, and that's a good thing.
Well, I believe if society took a more Afrocentric approach to their thinking, that we wouldn't have global warming. There are a lot of things that we wouldn't have going on, because I believe that we are people of the earth and we will only take what we need. And of course, the Europeans' way, and the reason why you have the European way of thinking is because of, as you said, power, grab, take, separate, so we can grab and take. So I believe that if the world had a more Afrocentric way of thinking, that we would not probably be in the position that we're in today, where our oceans are being depleted because we're taking more than we need. Our forests are being burned down and ravished, and because we're taking more than we need. Uninteresting, architecturally uninteresting boxed throwaway homes are being built to satisfy whatever needs someone thinks they have. And in the process, our forests are suffering. Roads are being built everywhere. It's a lot going on. People feel entitled. So we can't wait for anything. In other words, seek what we need, only take what we need. So we have to genetically modify foods to produce more to throw in the garbage. I mean, and I think African American, Afrocentric thinking is to have a family unit that we all are part. If one person is not doing well, then no one's doing well. We only need to take what we need. We have villages. I just think it would be a better place if the world would adopt some of our thinking, or AKA, I should say, United States. I'm sure the other parts of the world that still have that way of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't. You can't miss what you don't have. And that's why it's so important for so many ancient groups of people that are spread throughout our world to continue the lifestyle that they know for living. And again, you have the Europeans or American Caucasians that are going to these places and trying to change their way of living. And this is why we have so many protections in place. And it's important that they stay the way they are. It's important that their way of living is not disrupted. I mean, somebody has to survive.
It won't be the animals, right? It won't be the animals.
No.
Yeah.
So it's not. Yeah. The European way of thinking is the capitalistic way of thinking, and as we know, that is the quick path to disruption.
Mm-hmm.
That's that.
Thank you.
Well, I agree with you guys, but I think I want to take it a little bit further to not just African thinking, but indigenous peoples thinking.
Yes.
In their particular culture.
Yes.
Before some capitalistic system of debt is introduced. Yes. And I'm thinking back to the book that
yes.
didn't get really into the meat of it, because if you, and I'm using my own personal experiences visiting different countries, and then I love to watch, the world travel to see how people are living, right?
Mm-hmm.
Regular people, right? That just work or whatever every day with the land. And this is how they've been living for generations. And it's not, technology is a double-edged sword, right? It can make your life better, and it can make your life worse, depending on who's making money from it, right? And so when we look at the different places around the globe, if the people have some resource, that someone else wants, and they have the might, they have the army, right? They have a military, the means of taking it from them, then they will just come in, they'll send the jackals in and disrupt their political system.
Yeah.
Right? They'll encourage the military to do a coup and overthrow because they want that oil or those precious minerals that, make computer chips or whatever. And the people's way of life is now disrupted because they don't have anyone fighting for them, preserving their way of life, how they lived in balance with their environment, right? And so now you have pollution and all kind of carcinogens and all kinds of diseases and illnesses and social and mental and emotional disruptions because someone wanted something that they had, but did not care for the land and did not care for the people who lived there. And so, yeah, it comes down to a very selfish point of view that what I want is what is supersedes the needs of everything else, right? And then the viewpoint is very narrow because now you believe that you may pull in, like we've seen that before. Oh, God has ordained that, I'm right. And if they were right, I wouldn't be allowed to come in and take this oil. So God must have said that, and people make excuses.
Mhm.
So you can make an excuse to do anything you want to do, but is it for the best and highest purpose for everyone involved? And I think that is a consciousness that is very prevalent in indigenous societies, right? They learned how to live with each other. They learned how to live manage their resources very well. And everybody just can't have an iPad, okay? Because there's a cost for that,
That's
right?
right.
There's a cost for that. Everybody can't have air conditioning because there's a cost for that. And so, yeah, it's about how you think about yourself and your environment and how you're affecting your environment. And definitely, no matter where you are, no matter who your people were,
Mm-hmm.
you forget these things that you came, your particles are part of everything, right? That's the connection. You're still part of everything and you're trashing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now you become disconnected and you need to figure out first awareness, right? Oh, I am disconnected. I'm doing something that is detrimental to everything and everyone around me. And I need to change. I need to try to mitigate what's been happening and become reconnected to the earth, the planets, the stars, everything that is actually part of me, and I'm part of it. So yeah.
Wow, thank you both. It is 7 o'clock. Why don't we switch from the agenda? Because I can just go on and on with the questions. But I wanted to see if there was anything that stood out particularly for you. And I wanted to ask how you're dealing with how you're receiving the technical language that was really in chapter 1 on quarks, whatever the hell they are.
Besides highlighting and hitting the web search. I'm like, oh, that was
Thank God for Google.
Okay. Oh, it shows wherever they are.
Okay. Like, I have much respect for people now. Much respect.
Yeah. Yeah. told Vanita my head was spinning.
And
Yeah.
absolutely trying to, because we want to imagine, we're trying to create an image of what these things could be and how they interact. I tell you who does an excellent job of not dumbing down, but making this kind of information palatable, and that's Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh, I love him.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love him. He
But he said
does. He does.
okay, he had to learn how to do that.
I think that she's probably really a fantastic teacher, Prescott Weinstein. I said to Vanita that, I mean, there's a reason I didn't study particle physics. Either it's just not how my brain works, which is, what I believe, or I didn't get the right kind of exposure. And, but I think that if she had been my science teacher somewhere along the line, it would have become much more accessible and interesting to me. I like her style. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. She's very, her besides the scientific jargon, the way she speaks is very,
Yeah.
it's very relatable. It's what's needed when you think about the field and you're thinking about ivory towers of scientific, right, with big gates in front of them, that kind of idea. And she's trying to make it accessible. And then what you said about the exposure, right? If you don't catch a young person during those formative years and show them that these ideas, these concepts are accessible in a way that they can envision themselves doing it, or even understanding it or seeing how it might work in their world. Because that was one of the things I remember hearing from my classmates all the time in high school. Why are we learning this? I'm never going to use it. Which is not exactly true, because if you think about it, I mean, all the math, the algebra, in small ways, you use it, throughout your lifetime. But you know, you have to make it accessible, right? So kids can see, yeah, it's in operation everywhere you look. So,
Right. Yeah, Vanita.
One thing stood out to me.
Heard your voice in a while.
Can you hear me?
Huh?
Can you hear me?
Now, yeah.
One thing that stood out to me is on page 25 when she was talking about particle physics and its theory. I love science. But if you look at it, parallels the way people think. In one part of her learning, the basic theory of particle physics was everything has its place and everything is in its place. And of course, she embraced that because that is just the foundation. However, I believe she's also saying, and she did pretty much, that although she embraces it, she's uncomfortable with just embracing that. And I kind of parallel that with the way we think, and a lot of other people like us. We can very well just embrace that this is how life is supposed to be. Everything is in its place. You move from one section to the next like a robot. So I think science really broadens your whole perspective And at one point, Nick Trapper, she did also say, you know, not only is science good, but you might want to couple that with philosophy, because the two of them teach you how to think beyond the obvious, beyond everything being in its place. And it did make her uncomfortable, although that is a basic theory.
Like the example, Benita, where she's talking about the, you know, chapter 1, the standard model of particle physics, and how gravity doesn't fit into the model. You know, because, you know, it's not a physical thing like atoms and, you know, quarks and all of that. And yet we know if I drop this pencil, it's coming down. Something, you know, something is happening. Yeah.
Yeah. And also how organized the basic model for particle physics is, until another part of that basic model, and I forgot the specific name of it, steps out of that basic model mode. And it almost reminds the basic model mode that is expected of that the model and the way it behaves. Also reminds me of slavery. How
yeah, I know what you're talking about. That it's like probabilities, you know. It'll probably go this way, but sometimes it doesn't.
And sometimes it doesn't, but for the most part, it stays as one little neat package with everything moving around. This reminds me of slavery, how there was expected behaviors of us, and we gave it to you because we had to survive. However, although the overseer and the master could depend on us to have that behavior every day, because it was a part of survival, keep your head low and get through the transaction. In the evening, when everything was quiet, it's almost like we had those radical particles where we got together and we did our home braids and we planned when we were going to escape. And the next morning we were back in the plantation and we gave them that expected behavior. I don't know why I thought about that, but that's what it made me think about. And then we do what we had to do in the overseer and the master. They were pleased because we had that expected behavior. We kept our head low, did what we had to do. Then when the evening came, here comes that radical particle. And that was when we were quiet over a meal. We would think about it and talk about it quietly and plan our escape. I don't know why that made me think of that. The basic model of particle, but that's what it makes me think of.
Interesting.
And that's why she feels, although she accepts that, she feels uncomfortable with it, because that means that your mind will not expand. And that means that some of those other things outside of that basic model, you won't know that they're there.
Right.
You're always curious. And that's, I think, why I like science. Yeah, because it's infinite. I'm not very good at things that there is a answer, because once you get there, it's like, okay, what's next? So, but anyway, I can ramble about that. But that's what that thought. That's what I thought about, and then it connected with when she said that she did embrace that theory. However, she wasn't particularly comfortable with it, because she got that comfortable, then she wouldn't seek other knowledge or be that radical particle that's seeking other knowledge. I love this book. I love this book. It's great. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I can ramble on. I love science.
Yeah, it is. It is very stimulating. I think it's a good choice, and I've learned a lot in the first two sections. So,
Yeah.
so I think I'm probably going to learn a lot more by the time we're done. One of the things that I learned about was the work of Shaniqua Gay, the artist, who did that sketch that's in the beginning of the book that envisions Black women during slavery as scientists. And so Prescod-Weinstein was saying that she had asked Shaniqua to, create this image. I was wishing that she had asked her to create an image, going all the way back to Africa, early Africa, because of course we are the first scientists, and to really have that image in our head. But of course I went and I looked up, I googled some of, Googled and saw some of her many, many beautiful works of art. So that's one of the things that I learned from this section of the book. Gio, are you frozen or am I frozen?
You are froze. You there, Gio?
Oh, yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, there's a
Okay.
lot. There's a lot of stuff. But
Well,
one of the interesting tidbits was that there's an anti-everything.
yes.
Yes.
Which goes
Yes.
back to what Benita was saying about, while they're watching it, it's acting like, check off box 1 and 2. But when you're not watching it, oh, what is this? And what's it doing? Okay, that explains what happened before, because there's these things. Let's name them.
Right.
So, yeah, science. Well, this is an ever evolving, right, science, because the more they learn, the more they need to learn, and then they find extra stuff that they have to explain and name. So, which is good, because they're not thinking that the universe revolves around the Earth anymore. So I guess this is progress, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I was surprised when she talks toward the end of the chapter about how it's harder to get funding. That the field is not getting the kind of funding that it used to. And, so, I don't understand the priorities of capitalists.
Well, it's not.
Because you're right, Gio, you would think the more you know, then that just shows you where you need to go. You don't slow down.
They lose money, though. A lot of times they lose money. Although this is what it's about, capitalism. Yeah, the more you know, the more you discover. Like how we can cure 155 different forms of cancer. But if we do that and we fund that, then what are pharmaceuticals going to do? What are the surgeons going to do a little patch-up job when actually there's a cure for it? And not just that, the hospitals are affected. Mammograms are, oncology is affected. That's a money maker. Everything is affected. So no, they're intentionally not putting money into science because everything is science, and especially our health. There's no reason to put money. We do a cure for what? Why? A cure means that is the end of the profit for that particular thing.
That's true.
And they want that profit to go on from the time you're born to after you die. Because now when you die, you can get cremated and your family can wear you around their neck on a ring. They could take you to the forest and have you buy a tree. So they're not trying to do it. They're not trying to really fund science. They fund it just enough to distract us, to make us think, well, okay, we really are looking for a cure.
Mm-hmm.
We really want to solve this problem. They're not trying to solve a problem. They'll go broke if they solve that problem.
You're right.
So when you get close and these scientists get close and like, wait a minute now, hold up. Ooh, they're getting close to a cure. So I guess all us billionaires and trillionaires, they all get together on that Zoom like we're on, and they go through all those different scientific programs. They said, ooh, they're getting close. We got to pull some of that funding back because getting too close. I really believe that's how it happens. Because we're not controlling it. There's only a few trillionaires, super wealthy people that run this whole freaking world. And I do believe that. They have summits all the time where all the trillionaires get together and decide what's best for us. And they make that public information. So you know when they get together, they're deciding where they're going to spread that money. And a cure for breast cancer, hell to the no, then that affect the mammograms and all the other scientific equipment that we can make money off. Let's put more money, take it out of there, they're getting close, and put it into a better mammogram system, because that's where they're going to stay. They're going to be right there. So, I mean, that's my belief.
Well,
I think you're right, unfortunately.
I really believe that. So when she don't get as much funding, it depends on, you know, what you're trying to accomplish and how much money you're going to take out the trillionaire's pockets if you accomplish it.
Yeah, I was just
She must be close to something.
Just before we came online, I had seen an article. I didn't get a chance to share it with you guys. I think it was from January of this year, or it might have been a year ago, I'm not sure. But she just got personally awarded $100,000 to do something. But, you know, that's a pittance, you know.
Stop in the bucket.
For the kinds of things. You know, but I mean, it's nice, and you know, it's you know, in some fields that would really be a big deal. I'm not so sure it's a big deal in particle physics.
No, that's the coffee break money after you put in that.
I mean, I just had an eye exam. I just had an eye exam a couple of weeks ago. And I was telling Benita that, you know, it was the best eye exam I've ever had because they have some new equipment. They no longer have to use that machine that like blows a puff of air into my eye. And it was wonderful. It was painless. It was great. And Benita said, yeah, they got all kind of new equipment and those machines cost, you know, millions of dollars. So yeah, you know, that's science.
That's science. And all those scientists came together. I couldn't even imagine how many came together to create each component after years of research in different companies, and usually small companies. And they all came together and they created that one machine. But that machine costs, you know, as much as money as almost probably as Jesus has. when you look at how much resource costs, the manpower, everything else that goes into it. So yeah, that's why I laugh. I laugh hysterically at people that say I'm anti-science. I'm like, science is everything. How can you be anti-science? You wouldn't take a Tylenol anti-science.
That's right.
How, you wouldn't drink one of those refreshing drinks that all the
how can you be anti-democracy? I mean, we're just dealing with some really, evil forces. It's certainly not logical. I mean, that is one thing that I like about science is the logic of it all.
Yeah.
But when you're dealing with human beings, it's not logical.
It's me. You don't believe in science, we wouldn't have light bulbs right now. What are you talking about? We're sitting here with kerosene. And before we discovered you could use kerosene and light a match to it in a contained area to get light, we be sitting in the dark. Is everybody out their mind? Maybe it's us. I think it's us. I think that maybe they are right. I just think.
Yes, it's you feminists.
Oh, yeah, there you go, Gio. That's it. Oh, also A.W. Pete, I found to be an interesting scientist. His backstory, he's a transgender scientist. And I read his backstory and I found it to be very interesting.
Oh, cool.
I did a lot of reading.
Yes,
exactly. Yeah, his backstory is very interesting.
Okay, you want it?
Huh?
Okay, and I wanted to look up, but I didn't get a chance. Maybe I'll do that this week. Is the backstory for the first Black woman and first Black man to earn PhDs. I think his name was Boucher, and her name was Willie something.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, but Benita, if you have a piece, you want to share, maybe put it in the private group or put it on the Global Black Feminist page or whatever. Send it to me, whatever. I'll try to share it with everybody.
Yeah. I just thought it was interesting because
Gio, do you have a final word for us?
I have who?
Oh, what about the Hebrew? I had to figure out what that Z quotation L.
That is when Jewish people have passed, and it represents may their memory be a blessing.
Yeah,
so that's what that
means. Yeah. I don't know that I had seen that, and I like that prayer. Was it the end of? Read that prayer for y'all. I have barely used my voice in however long we have not been in book group. Blessed are you, universe, who brings in the evening with a word in wisdom, opening the gates and with understanding, changing the times and seasons. This is on page 8 of the hard copy. Ordering the stars along their paths in the sky, creator of day and night, rolling back light from the dark and dark from the light. You make the day slowly fade and bring in the night, dividing between day and night. How great is your name, living universe. May we always feel your presence in our lives. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings in the evening. And Adonai is a Hebrew name for God. So for me, I mean, I learned about Shaniqua Gay and Black physicist and Hebrew stuff and particle physics.
So it's been cool. Which I thought was interesting with the prayer. She blended her heritage. Believe it or not, there are a lot of Black and Jewish mixed people in the United States, period. Quite a few. And I like the way she brought that together. That's very good. Well,
I think it's an inclusive of her.
Gio, any final thoughts?
Think about what freedom looks like for you.
yes.
How you get there.
Well, maybe the OG group will get there before it's all over, Gio. We got a few years left to try to find the way.
Well, journey is everything.
It is.
If I know I'm on my way there, I can be satisfied.
That's what I'm saying. Yep, so we got a little while longer to be on your way. We got quite a bit. My father will be 90 in August, so I might be here for a long time.
But you don't say it like that.
No, I'm sorry. I should be happy. I might be here for a long time, but it's really not how I feel if I say that. It's going to be cheery. My family lives a long time. A long time, Gio. Why?
Why? Oh my
Why? And that's what I'm afraid of. I mean, look what's going on. Look at 2023. If I lived, I was 90 or 95, it's 100. Like some people, my family is like, I don't want to be here. I mean, that's the way people that are 90 are feeling now. In 2023, they're ready to go. So, could you imagine another 20 years from now or something?
I don't imagine it all, but I know what I don't want is to be older and not be able to take care of myself, be in my right mind, and have some financial stability.
Well, don't worry about it. You, me, Michelle can all live together. Don't worry about it. We got each other. We got each other. Don't worry about it. Long as somebody can see and somebody can hear and somebody can walk, because you won't be driving no car. I think we put all that together, then we'll be able to survive. Okay? What you think? Think about Michelle. As long as somebody can, and as long as we have one of us, we can all put them together and we can make it. We can make it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, it's not a problem.
Absolutely. All right, you all. It's 7:30 on the dot, basically. So we call it a night. And I will see you next week reading our story together.
All right.
See you later, Michelle. See you later. So good to see you, Gio. See you next week.
Have a wonderful week.
You as well.
Night time, boy.
I love that, Stephen Waltons. That was my program. It certainly was.
Yes, indeed.